Last night was WrestleMania 33. And what you just saw there was a wrestler named Roman Reigns, who is supposed to be a good guy, a babyface. You know how this works, right? Wrestling is not real. There's storylines. The wrestling itself is, real. The people put their bodies on the line and they have performances, but it all goes around storylines and good guys and bad guys. And Roman Reigns is supposed to be one of the good guys, right? One of the baby faces. But this motherfucker got booed out of the building last night at WrestleMania. Some of you might say that's because he retired The Undertaker. Yeah, Undertaker, for all intents and purposes, he's retired. This seems like the end. He said on his last match he would have Jim Ross to come in and announce it. His wife was there, Michelle McCool. Wife or girlfriend, I don't know if they're married or not. But everything kind of told you that this was going to be his last match. Especially with his match going on last. It was the whole setup. You had 2 title matches. You had Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar. But the booking was to put Undertaker and Roman Reigns on last. Okay, you following me? Undertaker is one of the biggest baby faces of all time. Yeah, he's been a bad guy. But even when he's a bad guy, he's thoroughly loved. Because you see, The Undertaker has been wrestling a long time. Like a long ass time. He's actually been at most of the WrestleManias. So yeah, the idea that we will now have WrestleManias in the future without The Undertaker's kind of sad, but Father Time catches up with everyone. I think he's like 52. His body is just completely broken. He's been through a lot of wars. He's worked through injuries. Yeah, it's pretty much time for him to go. Roman Reigns. Supposed to be a babyface. Taking on The Undertaker in the main event of a WrestleMania. Not the opening match. Not the middle match. Not the next to last match. But the very last match. I'm getting into the head of the bookers and Vince McMahon here. You heard the boos in that intro. Let that shit sink in. Because I'm trying to figure this out too. I don't have anything personal against Roman Reigns. A lot of people hate him to death. I don't. He shows up, he does his job. I have a problem with WWE. You see, when a person is booed out of the fucking building, night after night after night, you should kind of get a hint that maybe you should turn that person and make him a bad guy. Again, back to good guy, bad guy. Good guy, bad guy. That's the fabric that holds professional wrestling together. It's the story. And you might say, well, Rick, sometimes there's good matches with good guy and good guy, like Ultimate Warrior and Hogan back from the days. Yeah, but primarily it's a good guy, bad guy kind of thing. Roman Reigns, at this point, is, I would say, the most hated wrestler in all of WWE. And he's supposed to be the biggest good guy. Okay? Again, I can't... I had to sleep on that. I was going to make a video yesterday, but I had to think about what WWE is trying to do. Because I'm a person that... I don't watch wrestling nearly like I used to. My late grandfather, he got me into watching wrestling. He was really into it. I think he thought it was real. Up until his final days, I didn't have the heart to tell him that it was all fake, So I think he died, thinking it was all real. So, bless his heart. If he's looking down from heaven and looking at this main event, his body on earth would be rolling over in its grave. Appropriate, considering I'm talking about The Undertaker. The Undertaker's last match. If you saw it, You know what I'm thinking right now. How incredibly sad is it for The Undertaker? And this is why Roman Reigns is getting a lot of hate. But, you know, people should really hate WWE because they write all this bullshit. Roman Reigns is just showing up and punching his time card, okay? The look on Roman Reigns' face after he beat The Undertaker was just priceless. Because normally when a big babyface wins a match, they raise their arm up in the air and they get showered with praise from the crowd. Now some of you might say, whoever fought The Undertaker and retired The Undertaker would have got booed out of the building, Rick. No. You telling me if The Rock came back or Shawn Michaels came back or something, or maybe AJ Styles or an up-and-comer, maybe Kevin Owens, any one of those people, you telling me if any of those people, who generally get like a lot of cheers, maybe not Kevin Owens, but you telling me any of those people retires The Undertaker and they get the kind of boos that Roman Reigns got? You're fucking crazy. Not in a million years. Not in a million years. But could you imagine that? Shawn Michaels coming back? And how crazy it would be for The Undertaker to retire Shawn Michaels and then Shawn Michaels coming back and retiring him? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what WWE is doing anymore. I don't know what they're thinking. Because last year's WrestleMania main event had Roman Reigns taking on and beating Triple H. And in that one, Roman Reigns got a title, and you know what else he got? He got booed out of the fucking building. Just like this one. Only difference was Triple H was supposed to be the biggest heel, the biggest bad guy in the company. So at least they tried. They put Roman against a bad guy, someone that wasn't beloved. But if I'm the person booking these WrestleManias, and I see that last year, Roman Reigns couldn't even get cheers, beating a heel, beating a bad guy. Why the fuck would I put Roman Reigns in there against the most loved, probably the most loved wrestler of all time, The Undertaker, and beating The Undertaker? Why would I do that to Roman Reigns? Because you know what? It was eerie after that match. And I saw Roman Reigns looking around the crowd. People really weren't moving at all. It's like they were just incredibly shocked. Not shocked that The Undertaker lost. I think they kind of saw that coming. But they were shocked that WWE really went through with this. They had Roman Reigns, a person that they hate with every fiber of their being, beating The Undertaker. And Roman's looking around like he's expecting to get some cheers. Like he's looking around to maybe see if anyone cheered him or anyone cares. And all he sees is people with their thumbs down. All he sees is thumbs down. He looks like he almost wants to cry. And I feel bad for him in that second. Because it didn't have to be this way. Didn't have to be this way. I mean, watch it again. Watch it again if you can. And you'll see that. You'll see a completely dead crowd. Roman Reigns could have went around that crowd and offered people $5 bills. And they would take the $5 bills and they still wouldn't cheer. They'd be like, "Oh, thank you, Roman." Boo. Hey, you know, I'm $5 richer, but still, fuck you, Roman. Boo. And don't think that I hate Roman Reigns. I don't. Again, I hate the WWE writers. I hate the people that get paid all this money to come up with these wonderful WrestleMania endings. And that's all they have. That's all they have for us. Me, I don't work at WWE. Okay? But I could come up with a better ending than that bullshit. You know what I would have done with Roman Reigns and Undertaker? I would have had Undertaker barely squeak out a victory against Roman Reigns. I would have had Roman Reigns maybe dominate most of the match, and then Undertaker You know, he's telling the story that he just can't go anymore. His body's broken down. And maybe there's a pull-up victory, maybe like a roll-up or something, or he catches Roman in the Hell's Gate and Roman has to tap. Like maybe a fluky victory, right? And then after the match, Undertaker's celebrating. And then maybe he goes to pay his respects to Roman Reigns or give him a handshake or something. And then Roman just like completely cold cocks him, you know, starts punching him in the corner, spears him, gives him a couple of Superman punches, you know, beats the living tar out of the Undertaker. And you know what that would accomplish? Two things. It would turn Roman Reigns. And people would be cheering that shit. They would be cheering Undertaker ironically getting beat down because they would be like, yes, WWE is actually listening to its fans. And they're turning Roman Reigns, finally, after all these years. They would tune in to Monday Night Raw, interested to see what happened. And maybe at the end, you know, you have Undertaker standing up like a zombie and then walking out on his own two legs and getting cheered. Doesn't that sound like a much better ending than what we got? But they can't do that. They can't do that because they're stuck. They're stuck with a plan. And I don't know if this is going to be exactly how next year's WrestleMania ends. But if I had to bet everything I own on one WrestleMania ending for next year, I would say not only is Roman Reigns going to be in the main event, but he's going to win the main event. And you know who he's going to beat at next year's WrestleMania? Brock Lesnar. Yeah, I'm not a genius. I just know what's going to happen.
Just like in the old country.
Because, you know, what they have in common. You know what they have in common? They're the only two people to beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Roman Reigns uses a spear. Brock Lesnar just beats someone that uses a spear in Goldberg. Yeah, the story writes itself. Or let's just say they've written this story years ahead of time. It shows the fucking stubbornness. The lengths they're willing to go to stick with their plan. And WWE is showing every single person, every single fan of the product, they don't care about you. Because they have what they want in Roman Reigns. And they don't care if you like it or not. You're just going to have to deal with it. And that's why we should say, fuck WWE. Fuck them. If they don't want to give the fans what they want, then the fans don't have to watch this shit anymore.